kind of just have some topics for us to just kind of just as jump offs. If you guys have stuff as we go, don't hesitate to throw some topics out. Quick one, there's some stuff we've already talked about several times. So just to get everybody's thoughts, has anybody started looking at 8,000 and 9,000 promo upgrades with any of their customers? I know we have. Yeah. So engineer controlled people should all be raising their hands. You guys have started looking at it? What kind of reception are you getting from your customers at this point?
For the most part, they're for it as long as you give them the writing. I'll lead them there. Some people are, well, 6,000 orders or 600 orders. Well, you need to get away from that.
Yeah.
Good guys.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that promo, and Larry talked about it yesterday a little bit, like, in just being around Honeywell for as long as we have, this is like they don't offer these type of things, type of promo. And so having your customers, at least presenting those 8,000 and 9,000 upgrades to your customers, I think is going to be something that everybody should try and take advantage of, if at all possible. Future proofs your Jace, future proofs your front end into Niagara 5, 1, 2, it future proofs your hardware into the future, right? So, hardware dies in a couple years. It just turns into a license transfer and not into a full blown. You got to rebuy your device license packs moving forward. So it's a really good promo, and I want to encourage everybody that can to work with their customers on, hey, this is a huge opportunity for you to protect your building and protect the investment you've already made in Niagara. By just swapping the hardware over to the latest platform.
What's the dates on the program?
So the date ran from like September, and it runs through the end of June. It's like June 20 something. It's the end of June basically. So you got another 6, 7, 8 months, 7, 8, 7.5 months.
You were saying it saves you money on the upfront, but there was something else we were talking about, like on the back end, it was saving money too.
Well, it could long term. So if you get into a 9,000 and then in the future your 9,000 dies, like all of a sudden you have a problem, like power surge or whatever, right? Who knows what? And you fry 9,000. Well, in the future, then that's just another license transfer into another 9,000.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Versus if this promo goes away and you kill an 8,000 in the middle of July next year. You're rebuying your license, you're rebuying the box, you're rebuying the SMA. None of that will move.
So that's a huge difference.
That's a huge differentiator in that program. And so, big deal. Be talking to your customers. I highly encourage it.
Now, how do you approach it with your customers? Is it one of those things where you say, save the money here, or is it kind of a technology is increasing, so you need to keep up with it?
If the technology is increasing play, it's a value play. So look, and we tell them, look, if we had to do this without this program, here's the cost. If we do it with this program, here's the cost, and show them that delta. And that generally does it. They're kind of like, oh, we kind of have to do this, don't we? Well, you don't have to do anything, but highly recommend you do this for all the reasons we've talked about. But it's a cost savings for them, and then it's a technology. It's you guys have an investment with Niagara already, so that investment, if you're going to want to keep it moving forward, Niagara 5's coming. You're going to have to be on this platform in order to take advantage of Niagara 5.
Yes, it's a win-win for them.
It's a win-win for them. It really is a win-win for them. I mean, it upgrades their technology at the cheapest possible price point that Honeywell is going to allow. It future-proofs their building, both into Niagara 5 and then into potential hardware failures moving forward. And it's a value. I mean, there's a lot of benefit there. Okay. Any questions about that promo at all? Couple things. One thing about that promo that if you don't read the fine print, the SD card of the old 8000 has to get returned to Control Depot. And Control Depot has to return it to Tridium within 45 days of you purchasing the upgrade.
Oh, so you gotta get on it.
You've got to get on it. So you can't buy the upgrade and then be like, oh, I'm going to do it in 6 months. No, you have 45 days to return the SD card to Tridium. Otherwise, they charge you for the license pack.
And you get to keep the brick, so.
And you get to keep the 8000.
The old 8,000.
The 8000 does, so the 8000, that's a really good point. So the 8000 doesn't brick like it did in the past on when we had a 600 type promo like this. The 8000 is still viable. You just have to relicense it. So you have to buy a new SD card and you could buy a new license pack. Technically, that 8000, if you want it, could go be put somewhere else. Or that customer could keep it and do something else with it. But that doesn't actually brick the hardware like it did in the past. So that's we talked about it. Hey, we had a customer, hey, we're going to do this with some of your 8000s. They still have a couple of 600s. Let's take the 8000s. We'll put them in place of your 600s, and then before this promo runs out, we'll rerun the promo again. To move you over to an 9000 once they had more money to spend. They're like, we can do that? And I'm like, yeah. So you can do that. So the 8000 doesn't actually, you can reuse it. Good point, Mike.
So with those 8000s, if those are sitting on the shelf and one of their other 8000s goes down and they take the SD card out of their 8000 that was still operational, put it in that, and then does the license transfer?
I think you'd have to do a license transfer. There's still a license transfer, but it's like that's a very small, like that's a $150 or $80 or whatever.
It's like $250.
Yeah, so it's a very small, transfer versus, a whole new Jace for $5,000 or whatever, So but yes, you can do that, 100%. Other questions about 8000 and 9000? Okay. And Moises has talked about it a little bit, and I want this is going to be very interactive because I want to know what your actual thoughts are. What are you guys using for plant controllers currently? Right now, today, if you were to say, hey, I got to go do a chiller plant, or I got to go do boiler plant, or I got to go do for a plant controller, what do you guys use?
Well, we were using the 8000.
You were using 8000 dial?
Put a bullet in your head now. That's all going away, right? So, yeah, that was our transition from 300, the old 300 plant controllers, the old 201s, 8000 Jason at the IO.
Okay.
Advantage is licensing it as an 805, and then you can do some other stuff behind it.
Right.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah. What do you guys use?
Right, Cyber or
Cyber is what we've been using.
30 classics if we can.
Cyber or Classic?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 30.
Yeah, the 30, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 50s.
What do you guys using if you had to do plant controls?
Classics, and then we've done 50s.
Classic.
And then we've used the big optimizer.
We've had to tandem some optimizer.
Okay.
Use a big one and then add the little guys along.
Okay.
That's messy.
It is.
Very messy.
You guys use 30s? HCI Omaha, I'll speak for us. Pretty much Cyber 30. Probably 90% of it, and then you're gonna sprinkle in maybe some 50s here and there, but mostly Cyber 30s for the most part. Unless it's an old installation, and then we'll have used classic Spyders. So that's what's in there. We may continue down that path with IO. But we'd have been, currently today, if we had to do a plant, we'd do Cypher 30. PCA guys, what will you guys use?
Use Optimizer fan.
You've been using Optimizer Advance, okay. So, anybody else? Anybody else that I didn't hit? Raymond?
Classics.
Classics. Anybody else I missed? You guys. Us. Okay. Kind of the point on that, but not really a point, was just there was, okay. What do you guys think about Optimizer Advanced for plant control?
Well, I love it, but you gotta have the dollars match up to the site, right?
Right.
So if it's an existing customer, got a little more flexibility. If you try to jam it in on a bid spec, new construction. I love the Advance. That thing got balls and it'll do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Expandable, fast. That coupled with the T1 deployment, pretty nice. That's pretty sweet.
Got it. What do you think about that essential controller he's showing?
Needed it. Fits it perfectly. Haven't seen the price yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I can't tell. Sometimes I know things, I get told things in advance. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's going to sit. I mean, the nice thing is, where the IO pricing sits.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a nice thing they're doing. It's the same IO, whether you're talking about expandability on an optimizer, large, you're talking about an essential, you're talking about advanced, all the same SKUs, right? So that is like they're figuring that out.
Yeah.
They're figuring that out for sure. So, but I agree. I think that's going to be a highly used leverage controller, just as long as the price point's right.
Well, if I heard him right, you're going to be able to go back and use the large controller with current firmware and add the Modbus IO to it. So, yeah. So we got a gap. There's some point.
Right. I mean, the thing with that though, and I don't know if you looked at those dates, they're going to come out with that Modbus expandability spring.
Yeah.
And the Essential's coming out late spring.
Yeah, but for support of an existing site, somebody adds some equipment or something, you don't think yank the controller out, you need a few more IO, you can use that Modbus option to just upgrade the firmware.
100%.
Yeah, flexibility. That's what I like about the optimizer line now. Got a lot more flexibility as we move it forward. It's hitting all the.
To me, it looks like they're gonna sort of round that out for us,
Right.
And should be pretty robust from an offering perspective.
Yep. Get the commissioning tool to where you can drive points on the phone. That'll be pretty handy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure all you guys have got split crews too. We do. Install guys should be responsible for wire map and attendance. They don't like computers much. Typically.
Exactly. Okay. So I mean that was kind of the thing I wanted to just get a feel for, because I felt like we probably all were a little bit different. And that's okay. There's not a right or a wrong.
Right.
But just to kind of get that feel for where everybody's heads was at. If it had to go to hey, I need a plant, where would I go? Where my head would be?
Well, we've used a different color too. Different controller that had IO already available.
Right.
But again, you can't do that on bid spec. You got to do that in a supported base. And they don't care. They just get it working.
Yeah. Make it happen. Yeah. Okay. And it was said, I don't know. I mean, nothing's official till it's official, but classic Spyders are going away. It's gonna happen.
Oh, we had 20 years with them.
Well, good run.
I guess it's time.
It's a good run, isn't it? I guess they were okay, Larry.
Not too bad.
Straight money.
What are you guys' thoughts there? I mean, are you guys going to have, so let's just talk, there's lots of things we could go down about that here. Let's talk about the first one. Niagara 5 and Honeywell's current stance of not having Spyder tool available in Niagara 5. Thoughts?
Don't like.
It's gonna be a lot for.
Gonna be a problem. Don't like it.
Don't like it.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
I mean, I can see clunky ways of working around it, but it's gonna be a pain in
It's gonna be a
100% Ken.
Is that gonna cause issues with migration to Niagara 5 and the desire to do that?
I think so.
Yes, in the back, I know.
Be a pain on some sites. You've got your servers, your access into the site, and you got 2 workbenches you gotta try to deal with.
I know.
That's not.
We've got a lot of sites, we
Right.
So,
Gonna be a bad deal, isn't it?
Mhm.
got a lot of sites, we've sold them on the 9000 to get ready for N5, and they've got classic Spyders, and now we're gonna have to tell them, oh, well, wait a minute.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that in my head as we've been talking about this in the last 2 days too, and I'm like, okay, we're pushing the 9000 upgrade hard right now on a lot of things. We've touched on them, but Niagara 5 is one of them. So if all of a sudden they don't have, and it's a big classic site, they don't have support for those in Niagara 5, then I have to recommend to not do it. I mean, unless there's some workaround that someone developed somehow that's feasible.
So whose decision is it not to put this?
I'll let them answer that. I'd say what I'm gonna say. I'd say what I'm gonna say, but I don't want to do that. If I'm being
Yeah, what
recorded.
it has to do with cybersecurity vulnerability found on the Spyder plastics. So Tridium is not allowing us as well to go with the N5 tool for the classic Spyder. We can't. That is the main reason. I understand that the concerns of the tooling, having 2 workbenches is not ideal. But yeah, we'll have to come or either with a solution or I don't know, but to have that migration on the hardware is not going to be feasible because cybersecurity team in Honeywell won't allow us to do it. Just can't.
So we connect to so many third-party devices. I mean, what's the difference between that?
No, it's a tool. It's the programming.
Integrated.
It doesn't mean that if you have N5, you cannot see the controllers and pull them.
Can't configure.
You just cannot program them to the N5. If you want to program modify those 2 programs, then right now the solution is only N4.
Could you come up with a controller to be connected to all those classics that then you could access from Niagara 5?
Create some kind of gateway?
Is the vulnerability in the hardware, or it's in the hardware?
It's on the hardware and it has to do with the migration with N5. That is why
This is even in debate, like you guys flat out are not gonna.
it is beyond even my manager. There is a portfolio director worldwide that they make worse. It has to do with cybersecurity team of Honeywell, both in Tridium and Honeywell. It's to do with the company. So we are
Probably cybersecurity.
Upgrading.
they're not gonna allow to release the N5 tool on a cybersecurity no issue of the hardware that
So the way we do it, if they don't, we'd have to,
it surpasses
our spiders
scope.
get deleted out of station during migration.
my
We
paycheck.
got to rediscover that.
Yeah, I did. It's funny while saying I'm not gonna put my
Yes,
brand out
generic
there,
BACnet
no, on a known
devices.
cybersecurity issue.
No, not long, just.
That
Oh, yeah.
that someone can access
Yeah.
the system through your controller
Yeah.
Spider.
Well, yeah,
So
we
I
can still
can
pull that
That is,
into
that
a
is the main.
9,000.
Is it something they could?
Then you're gonna have to get all your.
I don't know, kind of like
Points back over.
they might think about it. So
That,
we
the
will take
migration
that
part
for
was
that
deleted
information
out
to
station.
them.
That's the
But
really bad
it is
part.
their last decision
Even if
if
we
they
went
want
through
to
all that, we
invest
could
that
still use
amount of
Niagara
work
Power.
and engineering hours to do it or
Routing
not.
in the J
It's
and
beyond.
program those.
And corporate
J's
saying,
in
well,
for
you're getting out
instance.
of the Spider Classics anymore, right? So in terms of like, are we gonna invest all that amount of money and time and resources and engineering on a product line that, yes, it's out there, but highly likely in the next 5 years,
But understand, no, it's gonna be out there for the next 20
No,
years.
it-
But don't say in the next 5 years.
No, I'm not saying that. That is what corporates.
I mean, just understand, there's still Excel tests
Yeah.
out there. that-
No, yeah, absolutely. Like,
And those are-
they're working.
And there's millions of spiders out there.
And look at it from the customer's point of view. They've just invested money in that equipment and now we're gonna abandon them on it?
Well, let's not forget the debacle of COVID. Everything evaporated, but classics. So a lot of us had to go back and start pushing high dollar classics, but that's all we could get.
Do you guys worry about inviting your competition because you don't have a gateway? Okay.
Because the competition can come in and be like, we
Now
can't
you're,
do
now
it.
you're looking at redoing it, so I worry more, it's kind of like Johnson when they come out with the UNT, they didn't want to do it in two, and then all of a sudden they come out with a button that can go BACnet or into because they had to protect their interest.
So this is good feedback. We will take that to people that they need to take that.
Because I'd be more worried about my competition coming to the door and buying jobs.
No, absolutely. That's
And then we did have the wizards for the XLs, and I think that was helped with some of the success for the classic Spyder.
So.
Is having the adaption to those two living in the same world.
that's true.
Yeah, there's just so many classics out there.
Yes.
You got 20 years of,
Easily.
that's all there was, you know, I mean, so there's, it's a problem that you guys are gonna have to address. You know, and I know, you know, fortunately, in the short term, because all of a sudden when Niagara 5 hits and you guys there's nothing there, it's gonna be a problem. Or at least not without a path.
When will Niagara 4 go away?
But they
28.
right?
28. Well, it's like AX, right? It's still around, but
Yeah.
it can support and there won't be any more
You won't be able to buy it.
you won't be able to buy it. There won't be any more iterative upgrades.
No more licenses.
But okay. Anything, okay, the other thing with classics obviously going away, Lon then goes away. With Lon going away, I mean, who's got large lawn deployments?
So,
There you go, raise your hand.
You got islands of lawn too, you know, intermixed all over the place.
Yeah. So obviously T1L is a nice full-on retrofit. I mean, there's ways we've even talked about, you can just kind of semi-retrofit with it. You can talk about that stuff if you want. But T1L works. I don't know if you haven't used it, use it, try it. There are a couple little nuancy things with it. You used it? Yeah. There's a couple that we've used. We've used it, and a couple nuancy things with it, small, that are not earth-shattering. But speed's good. The stability of it's very
solid.
Yeah, it's very solid. The stability on it's very good.
Wire it right.
Yeah, wire it right. But if you put it in, it's not polarity.
No,
is it?
no.
You can't,
Well-
you can't really mess
Yeah,
it
you
up.
can't.
Well, it is by standard,
But it's not in.
but the chip that we selected of T1L of the manufacturer has the ability of knowing if the polarity is reversed to flip it up. So it's out to doing that. That is another thing that I didn't talk about on T1L when they come out, our competitors. If they're selecting that type of chips that will allow them to be polarity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew ours wasn't, but I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
because of the.
By
It
standard
was.
it is, but the chipset we selected, the manufacturer already had that.
Yep.
On their
It may not be a bad idea just to wire it polarity.
We did. We always told them to.
But there's already later,
We always
to
told
add
them to.
something.
We always told them to, but
Yeah.
even if you get
Oh,
one
yeah.
wrong, then it's not
Yeah.
good. But we always told them to as well. It's I personally feel like it's the easiest path forward to IP, and it's the I mean, Yeah, is it gigabit speed? No, but do you,
Doesn't have to be.
you need that?
From
Why do you
from
need,
where we came from?
right, you're coming from 78.6, yeah, you're coming from 78.6 to 10 meg. I mean, it's like, you know, a bullet train compared to what you're used to. And so, and you get away from expensive BACnet cable, right? You can go back to basically what amounts to lawn cable, but you could really use anything. And so we've done it, we've retrofitted with some 485 cable. I don't know what it was. I mean, it was a old iNet something, in the 2 buildings we did. So recently, and it worked just fine. So,
But you did indicate twisted pair for T1L.
Yeah.
So but not class cable, right? So
As long as that pair is twisted. like
one
that.
time in 1,000 feet, is that enough?
now,
It's twisted right at the connector.
Say that,
Probably worked. Yeah,
that,
probably.
that John Hatchie at the beginning was really cautious about it. He never believed on it until he had to twist his own pair of 2 different reels.
Hmm.
And he did a mess. So, just because tried to break it.
Yeah.
And he got surprised and it's still working. So yeah, that's the longest I've twisted pair.
so yeah, is it going to be a controller died replacement product? No, it's not. There's ways around that. Like I said, we can talk about that. You know, we've talked about pulling parallel bus on some of those projects to be able to replace as we go. So it's like, hey, we got to go out to that controller, hit them all on the way out, catch that one, and then you're sort of future-proofing yourself as you move back through the system if you're not able to do big chunks at a time. But from my perspective, it's an easy path to IP, and if you haven't used it, I highly recommend you guys getting one, trying it out. Find a small project, find a small something, use it, because I think once you use it once, I think you'd be like, yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is it.
Don't forget to loop it. And don't run the loop, don't run it in a serial bus and then think you're gonna get from that last controller all the way back to the starting point. So you gotta look at your wire layout a little bit, because the distance is a real thing. Joe said it earlier.
It is.
You gotta watch out on the distance. So, you know, normally I had a linear bus, so what will I do? Well, I'll go to the last controller and bring it all the way home. That's a bad plan.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
when you loop it, remember of the RS switch. Yes. Okay.
yep. So, there's a few IP things. If you're not, so to see the controllers, you got to be on a have a router in line that'll give it an IP. There's a way around it. It's messy. I don't recommend it. It's easiest just to put a router in line, and the moment you turn them on, it assigns the IPs, and you can take the router out. Then you can change them as you go. There's some nuancy things like that you guys get into it, and you were like, hey, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Give us a call. We can walk you through what that looks like and how that. Now, there's some very map is still in here. No, him and I were out, and we were just pulling our hair out. We had 6 of them. They were on. We couldn't figure it out. He put his router in line, and he's like, they all popped up. And it was like, then we found out, oh yeah, they don't come with an assigned IP. They have, and they don't, and so you have to be on a network that'll assign them an IP. You have to have a DHCP server available. And so as long as you do, it'll assign them, and then you can go in and change them to whatever you want once they're assigned. So there's some nuancy things like that that you just got to kind of know. But once it's in there, it's yeah. So I would highly recommend them.
They will, if you don't have a DHCP, they will come up with a local link address of 169 something. I've seen some people leave, they set their entire site up and left it all 169. That's probably a bad idea. I mean, that one's still like that, and it's still working because it was like 200 devices. They didn't want to go back and fix it, but don't do that.
Now, would you use this on a new from the ground up construction project?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We are.
absolutely,
Feed
absolutely.
the insulation.
Here's the thing, and so like somebody said this yesterday, and they were like, "Well, but we go out and we capture, you know, rooftops, right? And we just bring them into our bus. You know, we're going to tell you and I think you're going to agree, you're going to agree, that we try and segregate third party and Honeywell onto different buses if at all possible. And that's just to prevent the finger pointing, right? Like you all have been through that. And, if you're going to go down that path anyway, T1L then becomes very viable on new construction. We're like, hey, I know I'm already pulling a trunk up for hit the 3 rooftops, right? All the boxes are T1L below it, and you don't have there's no problem there.
Well, and you can push that MSTP bus back into the T1 at one.
You could.
Run it, reverse it.
You could, absolutely. You could, and put it at the end and reverse it. 100% you could, but that, you
That creates a segment.
Correct.
It creates that isolation.
It does. But, so there's ways around that. So I wouldn't let that type of a concept limit your use in a new construction. So, yeah.
Moises, have you seen a media converter that goes from RS-45 to T1L?
All router.
It's
Yeah.
a gateway.
It's like $200.
Yeah, or more.
Oh, yeah.
It is a gateway because it's like any other RS-45 to IP. You need a gateway.
You gotta change it.
You need.
Oh, you need a processor in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just put it back in the router
It was like-
Yeah.
and then a T1L adapter right next to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's what you do.
yeah.
Flip it twice.
Flip it twice.
Yeah, don't mix, even though it's twisted pair, don't mix that cabling with the other one because one is IP and the other one
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's 2 different products.
Yeah.
Protocol is BACnet, but the media, you cannot just pair them. There's like, there's no way.
Around $500 for the conversion.
Right.
Cost.
Per
And
unit,
you need
yeah.
a gateway. You can pair.
But if you do what Jeff was talking, you convert segments, you don't do every device.
Correct.
Yeah.
Create a segment and then just convert it one time. Yeah, it works fine.
It does.
Mhm.
Question about T1L, Spyder Classic, Lon. What else are we covering this little segment?
License. We won't be able to get Niagara 4 licenses at some point. I'm assuming the Niagara 5 license will still allow us to run Niagara 4 and AX like it's currently working with N4 and AX.
What do you mean?
So right now on our laptops, I have a demo license, N4.
Yeah.
It allows me to run AX Workbench. And so it'd be 5 back. Okay.
I would assume that.
Yeah, I would assume,
I
but
would assume that, but.
Hey, they're not ever like classic, so
yeah.
can't trust them.
That's funny.
Well, he was quick to throw them under the.
They throw me under enough.
Throw it to the.
All right. Got about 20 minutes left. Cloud offerings yesterday. Thoughts?
I really like what I saw on the Niagara Cloud Suite part of it. Because it's going to give us access, remote access without having to deal with IT.
Okay, can I cross that road right?
And
So we can only browse through that remote connection.
a browser. Yes, it's
When you
not
get-
a full.
Is there a roadmap to enhance that for a true remote connection so you can? Here's a reason.
So by, I don't know when they're gonna release it. Plan is to have, and they might be ahead of schedule, but plan is to have all the tools ready by February.
To get to the platform.
Get the plan.
And then
Do it
there's
all,
one more,
so they're all HTML5, so you can do.
okay. Then there's one more twist, and that is third-party controller. Used to be able to, or you could tunnel through the JACE and get down to the point level program other BACnet controllers if you had the tool.
Now, that's a question you should ask yesterday.
Well, I gave you a whole day to mull over all the.
Well, but not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who knows.
Yeah, he was here, yeah, but that,
I'll see what I can.
isn't it, because we're no longer direct connect, so that changes. the
Yeah,
game.
I don't know.
Not a tunnel.
So that in 415, they came out with the station WebSocket connection, where I believe you can make a station connection with your workbench through 443. So I wonder if that's going to carry through
Yeah, I
the
don't
five.
know. That's why I'm like, which,
I was drunk there.
Yeah.
That's the right kind of technology.
That wouldn't solve the platform, but it would give us a real station connection.
Correct.
So that,
I don't.
and the, other, like the recover, obviously, that's, and the cost
That's
for it
kind of
was,
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that recovery. You were saying yesterday that the price on it's to the point where if you don't do it, you're dumbass.
Yeah, so the,
It's gonna work for it, man.
Yeah.
so we,
Keep selling it.
we'll get the pricing out, but the list price on Recover is $97 a year per device.
Yeah, you're a dumbass if you don't do it.
And that's a webs multiplier, so I mean,
Bury that in with the SMA support.
Yeah.
It's a nothing.
it's nothing, right? So it's kind of one of those, if you guys have service contracts or you have customers you take care of all the time, that's kind of one of those like we're doing this type situations because
And you be a part of that service.
correct. Like if you have service contracts, you're gonna put the $35-$40 or whatever it is.
It's gonna cost you more to do that manually.
Exactly. It's gonna cost you more than to have that.
And you can show me a five station backup, Colson,
Right.
all that stuff.
That- I mean, that's kind of like that
I'll be honest, I hadn't looked at the pricing either till you said that. I went back and looked to make sure it was right too. I was going, oh shit, that is pretty good.
so that's something that we'll get out. Like obviously coming out of this, we're gonna have lots of follow-ups for everybody. But that's one of the huge ones I think is at least those tools, what they cost, and then how do we go about then implementing those? Because obviously there's some pieces. There's Jerome offered to do a little training. We'll do it like as a webinar somehow. Like we'll let everybody be able to get on virtually.
We'll do an in-class training.
We'll do it here too if you want to come down.
In-class, that's what we'll set up.
Yeah.
We'll do it like, it'll be like a 4-hour training. It'll teach you everything, how to set it up. You'll do it. You like make a connection and you'll have an account. You'll set it up.
So we'll get into that. That's gonna be huge. I mean that's a great tool that I'm gonna encourage everybody to take it.
the other upside to that is the certificate part of it. If you're on that, cloud, the cloud's gonna handle your certificate for your Jace, so that.
Now, that's not available yet. That is coming though. That is what they're working.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Certificate
That would be
not
clear.
mailed.
That's part of the recovery? Oh, the certificate part of it. Wait.
No, I'm talking about your connection to the cloud suite, jump into your Jace. Your certificate's gonna be handled.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
done.
that was-
The other
Yeah.
certificate management will be done later on.
Yeah.
Saying,
yeah, sorry, yes, that is.
Yeah, okay.
but it is coming.
It is. They're actually.
Okay.
There's also, just, all of, like a lot of what he's gonna cover in that class. But there's a Tridium YouTube channel where those guys have gone over all that. And they broke up all those down into small YouTube videos. There's actually a whole cloud playlist.
Even then.
But in that playlist is, if you just need to have one piece of it or see how that's done, you can go look at it on there too. So there's that. And then there's also, they do the Thursday to Tuesday text things. And there's a whole list of those and more even in there. So there's both YouTube videos and rec ones. And if you have it, just at least go look and see what's out there, because there's, those guys they've really been doing a really good job of just putting together small videos, just about Niagara, different things, different topics, things that people have had problems with, and they're throwing videos up pretty quickly about, how to take care of those problems that not enough people know about it, because it'd be real helpful.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that we send that out through our email tree to everybody here. That's not, there'll be a lot, there'll be some follow-ups coming out of this, but that'll be, I wrote that one down.
That's a great one.
We'll make sure that we send
I
that
even
out.
go there and find it.
Yeah, we'll make sure we send that some of those links out to you guys. You guys can send, hey, I know where I can get that information. Okay. Cloud, anything else with cloud? I think we were all fairly impressed with what we saw with cloud. So just in general. So, there's some stuff to work on, but it sounds like February.
It's in work. It's
So,
already,
yeah, I mean, February's like around the corner for my, like,
yeah,
week,
hopefully
like,
sooner, but that's.
it's a week before when that'll be here. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll get pricing out. So that'll come out. That's on the list.
Oh, no, look good.
Jason and I have to look. There's some SMA. It looks like you bundle some of these cloud tools with your SMA. There even some more discounting. So him and I have to understand it probably with Larry just to, this is what we need to look at to fully understand. Cause if you're going to buy the SMAs anyway, if
We have to have the SMA to have any cloud services. Correct.
Correct.
It's not a choice.
right.
Just incorporate it.
But
So-
they discounted the SMAs when you bundle it with the cloud.
Oh, so
That's what I'm saying. Like we'll get all that. We'll get that out.
Doing things to try to.
Yeah, we'll get that out.
How about the
everybody.
email to SMS or a way to get the alarms? We hit on it a little bit yesterday, but a way to get the alarms out now to everybody's mobile phone in the world because the Verizon's and US Cellular decided to say, see you later. That's a problem.
So you and I should talk. We signed up for EMAG, which is Verizon's pay service. And it cost us $1,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of them.
But we have a lot of them and there's no lag, zero. I mean,
Well, it goes back to what it used to be.
right. It's basically like instant.
I'd rather have it be completely off than, well, it's leaving your site. We can see it go.
I know.
You got to Verizon's cloud or whoever carries.
It'll get you in 3 days.
Yeah.
Or at midnight or whenever they want.
Who gets the blame? It's never the carrier.
I know.
You get the blame.
I know. And so that's
Your
why.
alarms aren't working.
That's why we went to it because we were like, hey, we have to, like, we took that, we didn't divide it up amongst our service contracts, right? And I said, hey, it's cost of us doing business, but then I don't have to deal with, well, I didn't get the alarm. Well, it's not on me. Well, I took the hit on that.
Yeah,
but
again, a service contract's a great vehicle to cover that.
Yeah.
But the T&Mers, you go out and tell them, well, if you want the stuff to work that we told it to work and used to work last week or last month or 2 months ago, here, go buy this service.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna buy it for you, you know,
I'll
you've got
sell it.
nothing tethered.
I'll sell it to them.
Yeah, well, we can sell it.
I sell it to them. We sell it to them. There's a fixed fee. We have like, hey, if you want emails and text alerts, it's this much a year.
Boom,
Boom.
and then you just invoice it.
It's just that it's not a service contract. It's just like
Just get a bill.
the bill.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's just unfortunate, but
So
emails work. Emails work. Emails
What
work.
feature are you looking for?
Nothing. It's a Verizon problem.
The bride.
Well, I think US Cellular.
It's not.
It's the conversion.
It's a cellular carrier trying to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. They
So
took
this-
out what was a.
Yeah. The old VTEX is
Now
now.
they're saying you can't buy it.
Yeah, the old VTEX where you can basically,
Yeah.
is
Email to a text.
you can email to a text.
So is there a way we,
That requires a conversion because
so what
the
if
formats are different.
I'm wondering this, so is there something different we can do? Cause you can do alarm management now and that as a part of our cloud. Is there something from the cloud we should add as a feature to be able, that it could alarm out of there?
Well, I'm wondering if you could push an alarm as an SMS.
Right, it's a
from the cloud.
text. Yeah, that's
That's
the
that
question.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Also give us a reason to sell them the cloud connection. Another.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, actually.
Yeah.
I heard a similar thing before. I'm just trying to make sure I understand it.
We could, if you
I
want to
can take
talk
that
more
back.
about what we've had to do, call me or.
I want to talk more about how, if we did it in the cloud, it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
But then, it's all both problems.
You could do a timely text out. That's what whole delay problem is right now.
Right.
It's or what it was for the shutdown. So that you'd send an alarm up and it would be 3 hours later, all of a sudden text message show up.
Well, you never knew. Like it could be,
It could be days.
it could be a half hour. It could be 3 hours.
Yeah,
It
it's
could be a
not
day.
Alright.
Shore's been down for 3 days.
Yeah,
Right.
So.
Text is easier if you have like if you guys had an app where you push the app.
Oh.
That would avoid the whole text issue. That's not our app you have.
This is a thing.
Yeah. Listen, we don't want to bring us.
I like the fact that it's just another feature to sell the cloud.
If I can fix it. Yeah. No, I agree. It's another feature, but it solves a problem, real problem.
Okay.
Everyone is going.
That's what I mean.
You know, they live on it.
Is Moises still in here?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey.
He's not behind you.
I'm sure.
On second thought, I won't say that.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, moving on, we're still here.
Okay, we can talk.
No, that's okay. Does anybody do government work? Where, I know we do, that, where the Bluetooth Wi-Fi thing, is gonna be an issue? Chad's shaking his head. So, problem we're running into is even though the systems aren't, you can turn the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi off, the chassis still has the lights.
No, well, the three versions that they don't have a B or a W on it, it's not even the chassis. So, so that image is there.
It can,
I think what we're wanting is the
The
Bluetooth.
one that I have here is the Wi-Fi.
Can we
We
go
got
grab-
one that is.
can we go grab-
Yeah, we want it.
Yeah,
We don't want them to know we have it.
go grab a controller.
That's where this will be going.
VAV.
I mean, that is, I don't know about the optimizer.
What's up?
Without. That's why the J9000 has a Wi-Fi and the non-Wi-Fi, as the government said, we don't even.
Correct.
Can't even
Radio
show,
on
you
the
can't even
chair.
show it, you can't even have it, yeah. Be
Correct.
like, well, it's
Can't even
disabled,
be
it can't even be on.
So
Correct.
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are not on the non-Wi-Fi.
Correct. It's the same thing. So which on the 134, 112, and the 133, the BLE and the Wi-Fi is not on the chassis. Now they did the VAD, but you were asking for the advanced. You were asking on the
All.
all.
All,
The only one that might, and we want to change that, is the unitary.
yeah,
But it is
Has
on the, it is on
it'd
the,
have to be all. Doesn't matter.
yeah, so this is the confusion. When it was designed, so for example, this one. So when it was designed at the beginning, it was to save plastics around the world. Yeah, right. So this one doesn't, yeah, we can one second. But this one is, I know with the unitary it does and the VAD does.
This was the.
But because it's yeah, well, but it's this is not functional, it's just a family. So, this one, so for example, the unitary controller is the only one that you will see the symbol here.
Yeah, we can't, we gotta have that.
Correct, so that is what we are gonna do next year, because, yeah. And the reason why we had it is because when we invented the platforms, this is not a label. This is it's a plastic, full plastic. So, the caveat is how many plastics we want to go and throw out there. So, what we did, Pixarton was also bringing that into the table. We need that to be removed. So what we're gonna do is patch it over on the factory. So even though it's the same platform and the process is the same, when it comes on the layer of the color, that thing is gonna disappear. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that the controller has it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just that the symbol is there on the plastic design.
Right.
But it's not in the chassis. And that is a difficult thing to convince the end user about when they see that. I agree.
They don't-
Well, yeah, it's gotta be in the-
This is like, well, it's got an antenna, it's got Wi-Fi. It's like,
Yeah, so.
no, it
it's,
doesn't. Well, doesn't matter.
Right.
Government's kind of,
So the unitary is the only one that has that problem. The VAD and
VADs
the other one.
okay. All right. Topics that like, that's kind of all I had written down.
I'm gonna throw something out there.
Yep.
And, being, transparent. Base 9000, non-Wi-Fi. We are running behind on delivery. If you haven't noticed it, it's happening. Some of it had to do with the tariffs. They decided to inspect and go through in greater detail smaller shipments. We used to just fly under that, and now they've decided to inspect our shipments. So they're getting stuck in customs. We kind of got caught off by that. We are in the process of manufacturing those in the Americas. I don't remember which plant. I think it's one thing, Chihuahua, I'm not sure. No, but they may be one of the plants. And so we'll have actually manufacturing both in Europe and here out. We'll have closer manufacturing. But we're also starting to see on top of that is what our procurement people are telling us is they're starting to see chip shortages. Hasn't affected us yet, but they're seeing a tightening. And matter of fact, they've even made the statement that it's eerily similar to what happened during COVID. A lot of chip manufacturing companies are shifting chip manufacturing over to support NVIDIA because data centers are sucking up all the chips. So they're just kind of like warning us, hey, just so you know, it's not a problem yet, but we do have a lot coming in. We should be back in a good position within a couple of weeks, but I also just want to warn everybody in case they have a job, like if you need 9,000 controllers, I would warn them earlier than later, at least for the near term.
Wi-Fi ones don't have a problem, right? Or
Yeah, I don't think we sold as many. For whatever reason, we built them over. I think we built a ton of those. So if you
well, yeah, if you don't, I think you guys were offering them the same price, right? Or
yeah, I think they think they're going to be whole, so they're not. They'd rather wait right now.
okay.
So
So
if you need one right away, Wi-Fi one is the because we do have stock by.
anything else? Anybody have any other topics, thoughts, comments? Yeah.
Yeah, this might be something, but so we want to upgrade the Jace 3000 from Jace 9000. You said you had to upgrade it. A limit to get that chip back or get that card back to Tridium, right?
Yep.
Was that like clock start, right? Just the day you order it?
Yep,
Or you make
day you order it. Day that you swap the license.
Day you swap license. Okay, so like,
So like if you call in and you're like, hey, send it to me and we send it to you and we swap the license.
right, okay.
Yeah, 45 days to get we have 45 days to get it back to Tridium. So I think we're telling you a month so that we can then get it mailed back to them. And that's actually, we have to mail the actual SD card. So,
Why? Because it doesn't break it.
so, yeah. So just work with us on it. So if it's if you're doing an upgrade, if you're doing a 8,000 to 9,000, you have to tell us anyway. So that,
Right.
But then be like, hey, I want to do it, or I don't, I'd like to order, but I don't want to do it for a month or whatever, right? And we'll hold it and ship it to you.
We knew that was a hassle. We tried to find all kinds of different ways to do it differently, but that was the only way that the internal people would accept.
Yep. So if we don't get them back to you, probably in about 30 days, you're going to start hearing from us, from Depot.
Yeah, that's it. Actually.
Because once we get charged, you get charged for the core license, and you don't want that. We don't want that.
Right.
So
I don't think that's reversible either.
I don't think so.
Once we issue that core license, we can't reverse it.
Maybe Larry.
Maybe Larry can.
They put those right in the software. None of us can. I could do something, but not that.
Can't get cloud Spyder in there.
Only we're so many miracles, man.
Any other topics? Ken, you got anything?
I do not.
Okay. All right.
Nothing?
It's okay. Right at noon. So anybody that's gonna hang around, if you have anything else you want to talk about, don't be shy. Sasha, Moises, Larry, me, Ken, whoever, Depot guys. I think they're gonna. I know we've haven't given you guys enough food. So they're gonna have, I think they got pizzas. I don't know if they're here yet for lunch. I don't know. There's, they're supposed to have pizza for lunch. If you're gonna stick around, if you guys are gonna take off, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate all the support you guys give. Thank you to Honeywell for coming and presenting. I told them last night, I said, without you guys being here, it's just us up here standing and squawking. I'd rather have these guys up here talking to you, so you hear from them. Gives you opportunities to talk and interact. Jim, Moises, Sasha, Larry, Mike, Chris.
I know, if
You're blending in.
yesterday.
Yeah, you're blending in. You're blending in back. Yeah, you're blending in.
You're blending in, you look like.
Where you guys kind of talked about compiling some of this information and making it real.
Yep.
Yeah, like on the stuff from Jim, he sent me.
You guys will
everything.
just send that.
I'll get it out tomorrow.
We'll get, so like I know Moises said he'd provide his slides.
Yeah, Sasha has all this.
I'm assuming Chris would provide his slides.
On the IT side. Initially on this, we did need to pretty regularly say, all right, you need to whitelist this. At this point, I don't even mention it anymore in my training because it's maybe 1 out of 100 where it just goes, hey, something's weird here. And you go, yeah, just go to auth.ping1.com and whitelist that and everything's cool. Right. But that's an individual case by case. Yeah. And then, okay, so on here, it's kind of what is this is the roadmap, but it's also a good slide to talk about what are the individual things, right? These are what's coming. Larry's already talked through all these except for alarm management. Alarm management, I could show you. You can export, acknowledge alarms within the cloud portal. I'll show you that once I jump over on my computer. But really at the top, these are the key things. Multi-factor authentication is mandated with the Cloud Suite. By default, it uses the Salesforce Authenticator and then the Salesforce Authenticator app on your phone. So when you log in, you'll see me. I log in. It'll buzz my phone. I'll look at it, confirm, yes, it's actually me, and then it'll let me in. So multi-factor authentication is mandatory. You don't have to use Salesforce Authenticator. You can use Google Authenticator awfully, Microsoft Authenticator, but it just needs to be there, right? Device certificates. This is pretty sweet. We all dislike the process of certificates. This is the first step into making it easier for all Niagara implementations, right? Within the Cloud Suite, it just does it. It's really nice, right? So there's a slight process. You go through the authentication process, the registration process, and then in the background, takes 20, 30 seconds, handshakes happen, certificates are exchanged. We're kind of using this as a proof of concept. It works, right? So now hopefully as we continue in future versions of Niagara, maybe we can get that going with the TLS certificates too. That would be pretty sweet. So we all know the headache of CSRs and PKI certificates and all that stuff, right? That's where this is going. So that's there. Device certificates within the Cloud Suite are just handled. And then IoT cloud connections, that's the API stuff, right? So if you have third party, for an example, one of my test sites is I have some Shelly sensors spread around both energy meters as well as temperature sensors spread around my cabin, right? I have that working via API as an IoT connection, right? So those temperatures are coming into a station, and then that power consumption is being exchanged back and forth. So that's all facilitated via there. So we will, at this point, I think I'm going to jump over to sharing on. Here we go. You guys can see my calendar for a second. All right, so let me refresh this. When I had mentioned that on 4.15 and newer, the modules are just in the software download. That the palette is CloudLink NCS is the is the module, is the jar file that you need to make sure is loaded into the Jace or into the supervisor.
We can't see it. Okay.
Oh,
Sharing your stuff.
oh, yeah, I shared mine. Do I need to?
Your station layout.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Sounds good. Oh, I see, because that's not.
So awesome. Our technology.
There we go. There we go. All right, so only the people on the Teams meeting could see my calendar for half a second. All right, so it's the Niagara Cloud Service, or the CloudLink NCS palette, right? And then the Niagara Cloud Service, you click and drag up into there, go ahead and right-click Federated Identity Authenticator, start registration, and it goes from there. You'll end up with a registered, unauthenticated, and then the handshakes happen once you assign it to a project. This is all content that's typically taught in a 4-hour class, so I'm really condensing down here and trying to not, fall into the weeds. A lot of this. Let me jump over here now. So that's what's happening here, right? From here on out, we're going to look at it through the portal. So it's just niagara-cloud.com. When you go to it, it's going to forward you to niagara-community.com login. That's because your persona in the Niagara community is the credential set that you're using to connect to the cloud portal. I'm going to get here. I may have been sitting on this page for too long. Yeah. We'll click on cloud. It's going to take us through. I'm getting the notification on my phone. And approve it. And we're in there. Okay. So the different types of users. There are partners and there are customer users within it. Distributors and you as SIs, as contractors, you will be a partner level. So the control depot folks, what you're going to be seeing is you're going to be seeing all of your SIs here in these tiles like this. As contractors, you're going to be seeing your customers spread out in that way, right? Just like everything within Niagara, we try and make things hierarchical, right? So that's kind of how it's spread. When you decide to go into a customer, I'm going to take a look at this NSB Systems Engineering customer. This is one of our dummy customers, Niagara Smart Buildings, right? Your customer, then, this is going to be the customer view, is going to be they'll land here, right? And they'll see all of their various projects and then the devices within each project, right? So as an example, if one of them was a school district, say Omaha School District, they would log in. They would see on the left side would be, they could have it as all of their buildings, or they could even divide it up, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, however it is. And then they'd click in there. This is where it's up to them for, how do they want it to be organized? How do they want you to build it to be organized? It's kind of similar questions to when you're building a user interface for a supervisor or a Jace as it is now, right? So we're going to take a look at the Minnesota lab specifically. And now here are the two Jaces that I have connected remotely. The one at my house in Minneapolis, and then the one at my cabin in Cook County, right? So we have our North remote and our Minneapolis lab. We'll look at the Minneapolis lab specifically, and we'll start with the recover function. So recover is backup, right? So this is, Larry had mentioned, up to 5. These are not size limited. So if your backup is in a massive supervisor, you still have room for 5 backups. If your backup is the Latvian Lutheran Church at 18th and 31st in South Minneapolis, and it's a single Jace with a single air handler and a single boiler, right? 5 backups. same amount either way, right? And you can set your preferred. This is like if you have a golden image, right? So I have my preferred that I took, what is that, August of this year? That's the last time I added a thermostat to my house, right? To my lab. And then I took basically a golden image. The remainders then, you'll see right now they're actually at a somewhat irregular basis. That's because I made a little bit of a training video last week. So I had a couple that I took in short order. But by default, they're set to take once a week, 3 a.m. on Sunday morning with a randomization period. The configuration of that, I'll show you in just a few minutes when we go over to remote. But these are going on a regular basis. The one stays, the other 4 roll. And then when you download them here, they download as an eDist2 file, not as just a dist file. Right, so a dist file, I'm assuming we all know, you can change to .zip and then open it up. You know, you can unzip it and go in and make the changes to the station you need to make, and then just zip it back up and change it to .dist, and nobody ever knows, kind of thing, right? That's not true with these, right? That's a powerful tool that's great for us as professionals that need to just make something happen every once in a while. But what it's not is secure, right? So the backups from Niagara Recover are encrypted. They are encrypted using, by default, the station passphrase. That can be changed to an individual password too. Again, same thing. I'll show it to you. We'll see that when I jump into Niagara Remote here in a minute. It adds one step when you go to recover it. So you download it, place it into your backups folder. In Workbench, when you go to User Home and Backups, if you went to the distribution file installer where you would normally go to restore a backup, it's not going to show up. But if you go to the backups folder, it will, as an eDist2, you'll double click on it. It'll say, hey, this is encrypted. You want to decrypt it? Just click yes, type in the password. It takes like 5 seconds to do. It's not a long process you're going to be waiting on. And then it pops into your backups folder and you can just go back to doing it like a normal backup. But it's been encrypted both directions and when it was in the cloud, right? So again, secure by default. Every time data is in transfer on the Niagara Cloud Suite, it's encrypted. We're taking every step possible to make sure that's safe for you. So that's Niagara Recover. Larry had kind of mentioned this. I genuinely believe that all of you as contractors should just be doing this. I can't really quote you the number, right? That's going to be the Control Depot folks will give you the actual number on the price list. I can tell you it's not much, right? It's really not much for what it is. And the amount of headache this is going to save you one time will be worth many years of it, right? Larry kind of introduced himself and me a little bit. I'll mention, before being with Tridium, I'm a senior, bunch of words, sales engineer and application specialist is in there too. Before that, I've been product owner and development and engineer for manufacturer. I've been an SI. I'm also the kid of a contractor. My dad is also a controls contractor, just like Larry's, right? So I've been around it a long time and worn the hats. And I worked with him for quite a few years. And there's one specific instance where this would have saved me a week of work. And that was at a large medical device manufacturing facility where we talked about, okay, we got to have backups. They were very confident. They saved it to a hard drive that was in their server rack. And then a process steam pipe burst over the top of the server rack and punched a hole straight through the whole rack of it. And so we didn't have the backup, obviously, and took out the Jace as well and the supervisor. And so then I had to rebuild it just from scratch. And if we had this sort of thing, right, the Niagara Recover, it would have been a 30-minute service call and they would have been back up and running, right? So that one time, decades of the cost of this would have been worth it. So I genuinely believe you guys should be looking into installing this on every project, every Jace, every supervisor. Because again, you use it once, awesome. You never use it, Okay, right? It wasn't that much of an insurance cost. So with that, let's jump over to remote. So when I click on remote, this is going to look pretty familiar to all of you. I'm assuming many of you are familiar with connecting and taking a look at the ORD path in a browser. Quite here, from here over, this is just the ORD path, right? And before this, there's where we are, remote.niagara-cloud.com. And from there over, that's the system ID. So this is the ID, this is the identity of this station within the Niagara Cloud Suite, .remote.niagara-cloud.com, and then from there on out, it's the same as this station. Its IP address at my house is 192.168.1.143, right? So if I was at home, I could open another tab, and you'd see that it's the same. So that's where earlier when I was saying, if you can do it through a browser, you can do it through Niagara Remote. Quite literally, if you can do it through a browser, you can do it through Niagara Remote, because this is the same. It's the same, right? It's identical. It's functionally identical, and you're going to be able to work through it the same. We had mentioned the graphics editor. I maybe just in conversation, I had mentioned that earlier. At 415 and on, you can edit. You can create and edit PX pages. Really, they're UX pages, but same. It's just a change in name basically, and that's right here, right? So I can go to my editor, and edit things here. It works just like PX Editor does in Workbench. You can open your palettes over here, right? Open your palettes over here. You've got your different panes, everything like that. However you want to build it, you can go in and edit it there, and then just hit the pencil, right? All the tools are the same. So that's there now. There's another reason that you're not going to need to be running a machine with Workbench licensed, right? You can connect remotely. If you have a customer that you have an install tech that goes and installs a VAV into a site, and it's all just BACnet points, BACnet device and BACnet points, you don't need to go out there, right? You can connect remotely. You can open it there. You can run the BACnet discovery because BACnet Device Manager works. There's a web view for BACnet Device Manager. You can discover it, bring it in, add the points, add the graphic, modify the schedule, whatever you need to do, all through Niagara Remote. And it's pretty easy to, Moisa said, I mentioned it earlier, it's a little anticlimactic, right? Because this is something that the industry has been asking Tridium for a long time. Hey, when are we going to get Niagara? When are we going to get remote access? When are we going to get it? It's here, and it's easy. You're already familiar, so it's not like you're needing to learn any new tools or anything like that, right? You just connect to it, and you're off and run. Are there any questions regarding remote or recover? I didn't check in on recover. Anybody?
You going to alarm service?
Yeah, I was going to go to data service next. Yep.
So, this gets us to the JACE, for instance.
Yep, the JACE or the supervisor. And this is, yeah, you had had the question earlier. The license is placed per station.
So if we've got a site for 30 on this same network, we would have to add RVM license to that cipher and access it through a different web URL, because you can't jump to my cipher saying 192.168,
Yeah.
39.25,
Yep.
and my JACE is 26.
Yeah. So so for RVM, that's going to be a different URL, a different port. Yeah. It's going to be, I'll tell you on the backside, it's the same connector, right? But the actual user interface is a different user.
Same.
The backside, the engineering of it.
Oh,
right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the Niagara connector. Yeah. Yep. I did say this is one thing that I was going to show you guys, and that is when I go to the cloud service here, oh, it's going to open the property sheet or the wire sheet, not the property sheet. And click over there. Oh, I want property sheet, not wire sheet. There we go. So when we go to channels, the channels underneath of it, depending on which of the services you have, are going to change what channels appear here. I have all three of the services on here. So if I go to backup, this is the Niagara recover channel, and then through policies, and then default backup policy. And now here, this should look familiar. Obviously, I don't know if you all go through the web view or the AX property sheet view is a little different. This is just the backup service, right? So if you are used to setting up the backup service, this is going to be the same. You can set your excluded folders, you can set your excluded files, and then you can set your execution time up here. Like I said, for me, it's Sunday at 3 a.m. plus or minus 4 hours. See the last trigger, the next trigger is all set there. And then the one change that I'd mentioned, which was the passphrase first password, is here. And so by default, this is going to be set to system passphrase. You can change it to system password if you have reasons to, if you don't want to expose your passphrase algorithm, or if you don't remember your passphrase, right? I'm sure that doesn't happen to any of you, that you don't forget that you don't remember your passphrase. But if you do, if you did, you can set this to password, and your decryption can be done by a password. Anything? Yeah.
Are there any limitations from Workbench to remote that you don't get remote right now?
The limitation is doesn't have a web view, right? So for the Honeywell tools, they have not all of the tools have been built out as web view tools. They're still AX view tools. As those get built out, then that'll open it up. But the limitations are if you kind of want to have a checksum, right, on can I do this? If you can do it locally through a browser, you can do it through root. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
I saw that. What's it? SMA expiration monitor?
Yep.
That's something you could email out ahead of time.
I suppose you could.
Right now, I'm trying to do it through the JSON toolkit, send it
Yeah.
early to everybody.
Yep. I suppose you could. I mean, it's an org in the station. There is also with the cloud suite subscription, with the NCS subscription, there are reminders that get sent out ahead of time before the subscription is due to expire as well. And they are in order for the subscription license to be active, the SMA needs to be active as well. So that is going to be you can't have a cloud suite subscription without an active SMA. Those are tied together, and for good reason, right? We need you to be able to keep it up to date for security purposes. Anything else on these?
Is the program service type stuff, robot editor, program blocks, all that stuff gonna work in Niagara 5?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll all be there. That will all be there. Only other thing, I suppose I'll show you this too. When I go up to, let me close these because now there's lots of stuff here. I had mentioned the system ID. You can see that there. That's the same as up here. So when you're looking at a station locally and you go and you look at the TCP/IP configuration, you see the IP address, and then you can see that it's the same in the URL. It's the same here. So yeah, that's there, right? It again, it's something that's pretty easy to use and can almost be a little like, oh okay, cool, right? But it's a powerful tool for you guys to be able to remotely access, manage, and even do engineering as well, right? Because you can do wire sheet engineering, you can do the BACnet device discovery, you can do the relations manager, all of that stuff is available through web views at this point. All right, so with that, we'll jump over to, we'll do alarms first. Alarms have been moved. Initially, they were a part of the data service portion. They've been moved out here. So the alarms are up here. If we go to the alarms, you can see all or unread. You can mark as unread. You can move things around. You can also access it if we go to the data service here. Here, I'll click on the alarms, and now you can see them all show up here. Now these are unfiltered, so these are all of the alarms for this customer. Obviously, there's a lot because we have a whole bunch of stations that we use for testing. You can filter them here. You can filter obviously by the device, by the duration, anything along those lines. And then you can also select. So I mass selected there. You can individually or mass select, and I can export all of them together. What that's going to do is that's going to create a CSV that each of those alarms will be a single line. If I was to select one and export it, that would basically be a CSV of a single line. It's a pretty straightforward thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Question though.
Yeah.
What's the notification? Is the notification coming now from the cloud, or is it still coming from your on-site hardware?
It's still coming from on-site hardware. Well, and
the reason for the question
it's a
is
yes.
the cellular world decided to screw us all in.
Yes.
Testing alarms.
Yep, I know.
So is there any service to do that conversion within Tridium?
Not yet.
Come on, man.
I know. Well, I should say yes. I should say yes. There is. Yes, there is a driver, but it requires additional hardware, and it requires a cell modem basically to send it out to basically attach effectively a cell phone to the side of and that's a whole process, right? Yeah. But there is not. We don't have one internally. There is a driver available on the marketplace from a third-party developer to send out SMS texts.
Change the format and just push it.
Yeah.
Without all the extra hardware.
Is that SMS Eagle? Am I talking to the right one?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I actually just came across it like a week.
Does it work?
Like a week ago.
Because there's some.
I haven't actually tested it. So
There's some subscription
Well,
sites also pop up.
yeah.
when we got blessed by the Verizons of the world,
Yes.
I had to find a solution pretty fast. And
Yeah.
that was the one that I found.
Okay.
And they are a very proactive company.
Okay.
But as far as testing it ourselves, we have not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Curious.
Yeah, like I said,
Okay.
Well, I'm just making sure he's talking the same one that.
yes, yeah, we are, and that was one where I was trying to figure it out as well. Right, I was thinking like this is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, you buy
You know?
the license from the marketplace. It literally takes your notifications.
Yep.
It just goes out just like you'd have a council.
Awesome,
You just route it to the council,
awesome,
goes straight to them. They handle everything.
great. I like I said, I'd love to try it, but I just haven't had a chance to test it yet, kind of thing. So, okay, we got just a few minutes left. So quickly, I'll jump over to API connections. Right, so. APIs, we won't dig into them too much, but this facilitates control out. We have there are three APIs. There's a telemetry API, which is histories. There's a control API, which is control, read, and write functions. And then there's an alarm API. So if you have a separate dashboard or service that you use, third-party FDD, fault detection, right, analytics, third-party programs, you can connect them via API. They can take in your telemetry, your control, and your alarms. As an example, just a quick example of this, I'll show you two examples. One of them is just a very simple dashboard that I built of the thermostat that's actually running my house, and then the thermostat that's in my basement, just kind of sitting there. I know my house is not 63 degrees, right? Well, it is in the basement, right? So
Your offices?
no, thankfully. That's where my lab is, though. So what you're seeing on the left, this is from the telemetry. This is the history API. This is all the data that is going up and is being held in the in the cloud server, right? Your question earlier about pricing, this is data that has been egressed. So the volume of this data is how the billing happens on which tier you fall into on the data service, right? The other two are just, it's the same price no matter the size of station.
Okay.
On the right here, this dial, this is the control API. So this is live input from the thermostat. Effectively telemetry, your total your total kind of route is from your computer, right? I'm from my PC to the cloud, right? For the control API, it's going from my computer to the cloud and then back down to the Jace and then back up to the cloud and back. So any read-write calls may take slightly longer than telemetry calls, right? But that's how that works. Alarm API works the same way. If I had an alarm readout here, it would be going up and just pulling from the cloud as opposed to from the Jace itself. And then quickly on the control API, I'll show some quick examples here. The control API, you'll also see things called the Entity Model Service API. When you onboard the device, it's going to build out an entity model. This is where if you have tagged your points, tagged your controllers, you're going to have a better, more complete entity model. When you onboard, it is going to assign a Niagara Cloud ID tag to everything on the station. And then on your histories, it is going to assign a Niagara Cloud telemetry ID tag to every history that's not excluded from that. So just as a quick example, I'm using Postman in this instance. It's an easy API tool. This is kind of the barest of bones to kind of show you how this works. There is this is a post. You can go out, send it. It's going to return. This is a simple request of find all the points. So here's all the points in there. We can also go through and we can write a point. In this instance, this is writing the I think it's like the heating set point for a station to, okay, it says success, and then I can also clear that point. So now this again is the history ID API, the history or the telemetry ID is going and grabbing from the cloud. These are going out all the way down to the Jace that's in my basement. And then if you have an alarm history query, I can go out here. This is the alarm API. This is a whole lot of information that I really tried to cram down there into about, what was that, 30 minutes or so? Right? Does anybody have any more questions? Otherwise, I can make sure you all have contact information and feel free to reach out and we can take a little more time addressing individual.
So you all are the first Honeywell group that we've spent any time showing this or talking to or explaining this. If there is interest, I've talked to Jeff. We want to start putting together some training for it. You know, he talked about the training. It's like a 4-hour class. Mm-hmm. So we'll put something together. And if you guys are interested in purchasing this stuff, I'm just going to tell you, we haven't put out a ton of information for these guys to know how or what to purchase. So have a little patience with us, but we will promise to get it right. Make sure we get you guys up to speed on it.
$1 million.
Jeff and I were just talking, and there might be some good things out there. But I'll let you talk to him about pricing and stuff. But like I said, there hasn't been a lot of information for them. So we will back them up and make sure we get all the right pricing if you have any questions and things like that. So just let us know, let them know, and we'll work with everybody. So kind of excited that this is the first place we've rolled it out. And just love to hear feedback as we come up to us. If you have any other Niagara questions or anything, grab Jerome before he leaves.
Yep. So Larry and I talked. We're gonna probably do some sort of virtual or maybe in person, but definitely and virtual remote cloud type class here sometimes.
Yeah, great.
We're gonna figure out how to get that done for you guys in short order. So
yeah.
Some of these tools will be available because we do have the pricing. I think you're gonna be surprised how affordable some of the pricing is that we looked at some of this cloud stuff today. And so we want to get those tools in your hands right away. So we'll work on that.
So is that right?
We'll work on that very.
Yeah. And we have a curriculum in place and already set. So as soon as you